Oh, hi, didn't see you there. Clearly not, otherwise I wouldn't have been sat here being all creepy in the gym. We're continuing on with our glute strengthening exercises today. Today, we are going to be doing shoulders elevated hip thrust. Get a load of today's video. Hello there guys, welcome back to another video with Frontline Fitness. Hope you're staying well, hope you're looking after each other. So as I said, we are doing more work on the glutes. Booty, tushy, butt, chuff. I had another one today, look at that. Right, we're doing the shoulders elevated hip thrust without first, and then we're going to be adding on a barbell. You can do this with pretty much any weight. If you've got a sandbag, a kettlebell, water bag, dumbbells, whatever it is, you can do it with that. But for the purposes today, we're doing it with a barbell. Excuse me. What we're looking for is something stable we can place our shoulders onto when we do this movement, okay? So we're going to be looking at a weights bench in the gym, because we're in a gym. What you want is somewhere around about mid-scapular, shoulder blade. So if you were wearing a bra, if I was wearing a bra for whatever reason, but you know, it's 2021, it's very modern, we're going to be looking for where that bra strap would sit across our back. That's probably a good indicator for it. We're going to start off in that position. When you're doing a squat or a deadlift, your back wants to be very, very stiff, very tight. No problem having what's called an anterior pelvic tilt. So if you look, there's almost a slight curve in my lower back there. We don't want it to be massive, but it's a bit of an anterior tilt, which is going to help us with a posterior tilt in a minute. Bear that in mind. We want our shins to be about vertical when we get to the top of this movement. So bear that in mind when we get foot placement. You're going to need to have a little bit of a play with that, see what works for you. So from this position here, our shoulders are on the bench there. If you want, you can place your arms across the side for a bit of stability when you're learning the movement, because at first it can feel like you're going to fall off. But pushing through our feet, what we're going to do is we're going to drive our hips up until we get to the top of the position, and then we create this posterior tilt. You see how my pelvis goes from anterior tilt? So imagine your pelvis is a bowl. Right now, it's tipped forward, and then we're going to tilt it backwards at the top, thrusting up towards the sky, looking super awkward to anyone you make eye contact with in the gym. When we get to the top of that position, we want our shins to be around about vertical. Okay, you'll get a feel for where they are and what works for you. If your feet are a little bit closer in, it's a bit more quad dominant. If your feet are a bit further out, it's a little bit more hamstring dominant. But find a sweet spot somewhere in the middle. That's going to be good for both and glute activation as well. In terms of your chin, what I want you to do is keep your chin tucked. It doesn't have to be flat to your chest like this, but it should be tucked, so we're looking ahead. And the reason we do that is if I've got my chin tucked like this, this is as high as I can push my pelvis. This is as high as I can get my hips. I've got a nice flat back there. If I let my head go, I can push my hips that much further up, and I'm getting an arch in my back here. But if I bring it down, then I'm limited by my range of motion. So what we don't want is the ability to be able to do this and flex our spine. So going through that movement again, coming from this bottom position here, shoulders on the bench, we're going to drive through, and when we get to that top position with our chin tucked, we're going to squeeze our bum cheeks. We all know the phrase by now, like you're holding a pound coin between your bum cheeks. Don't lose your gym money. And it's that second squeeze as hard as you can, and then release it back down. Come up, squeeze as hard as you can for a second, and then release back down to that there. Okay, you don't have to touch the ground in each movement. My levers, my legs aren't long enough for me to do that. So you can put a bench underneath you, a pad or a weight plate or something like that. Whatever you've got, you can stick on your butt if you want to rest between each movement, or if you've got a lower bench, absolutely brilliant, no problem at all. What we can then do is if we find that we can reach our repetition scheme quite easily, no problem, we're not really getting a glute burnout. We're not, let's say we're working towards hypertrophy, so muscular growth and size. We'll be looking at, let's say, 8 to 12 reps. We can do that all day long. Or muscular endurance, 12 to 15 reps. You can do that, absolutely no problem at all. We are going to add external resistance. Today we're going to be using a barbell. What I would suggest you look at doing is having you can get a bar pad, you can get them fairly cheap on online shops or in some high street shops, or a towel or some sort of mat, padding, whatever it is, put it over the bar, because this steel on your pelvis is not going to feel very nice. No innuendos intended. So set the barbell up. Hold on, a little bit of steering work here going on. There you go, it's as good as my driving. Anyway, right, set it up across your pelvis there. Bring your feet in a bit until you just feel like the plates are going to leave the floor. So when you're using this, you're going to want to use full-size plates, like bumper plates type thing. If you've got smaller plates, this is not going to be as high off the ground and you're probably going to find that it's going to be sat here wobbling on your hips before you even move. So it's advantageous to be able to do it with full-size plates if you can. Okay? Hands go onto the bench for a little bit of stability. We're going to set our feet up in that sweet spot. We already know where it is because we've practiced this with our body weight. Then we're just going to raise the bar off the floor, give ourselves a little nuddle up, and then we're on the bench. Now in terms of hand placement, you don't have to have your hands on the bar, but it's a great idea for a bit of stability. We're not doing anything. All we're doing is holding that barbell in place to stop it wobbling all over the show. So we come down to our end range of motion, anterior pelvic tilt, and we're going to drive with the chin tucked until we get to that top position. Chin tucked. I don't know if you can see me over this plate. Look, I'll even wobble that way. With the chin tucked, I'm making sure that that pelvis is in the top position. We're going to squeeze for a second, and then we're going to lower that barbell back down. And notice my hands are just placed on here, just holding it steady. I'm going to drive up again, hold for a second, and come back down. And when we come back down to the final rep, you just place that barbell down, give it a little roll away, and take a nice little rest. Any questions in the meantime, do give us a shout over at Frontline Fitness, give us a shout on here or anything like that. If you want those extra awkward points, you can always make really awkward eye contact from the front while you're doing this. Yes, that's how we roll over here. As I said, any questions, do give us a shout. That's entirely what we're here for. If you want to do any more work around glute training, anything like that, give us a shout. They're the biggest muscles in your body. I'm not saying you've got a big bum. I am saying that they are prime movers. They're what assist us in the deadlift, the squat, walking, everything. Give us a shout. We'll help you get fitter, stronger, healthier. That's what we're here for. Have an amazing day. Stay safe. Look after each other.